Hey folks, it's Mad Rabbit back in Medieval Minecraft Creations. As you know, we've been working on our main keep inside of our main castle um, recently, but I wanted to take a little departure today and come back and maybe do some building stuff. Just just trying to get your creative juices flowing here. Some of the ideas I wanted to show you today was based upon this house here that you see before me. A lot of this is kind of obviously not finished, but it's not supposed to be finished because this is like an experimental house meant to show you just some ideas on maybe how you could build your own medieval houses. I just wanted to go over a few elements with you, and this will be a short episode, just quickly going over it. Now here, I'm just taking a basic design for this entire place, and I'll do it right now. I'm going to recreate this wall here, just here on the side. It's just basically taking a certain measurement, and going with it, and just basically duplicating it on all sides of the house. So what I did was just basically made a foundation. I like framing everything in wood when I'm doing medieval, particularly the cobble stuff. This looks better. And in this case, we use cobble, but you could use really just about anything like we used in this house, the sandstone stuff. And basically I just did like a window on each end and three in the middle, and I just repeated this design on all sides. So this was basically the same, but I eliminated the windows in these corners, and this is basically just a copy of it, but because we have a nice center block, which is sort of what you want to do if you're going to make a design, you could basically make any shape or size and then just repeat it multiple times over. So you see here it's exactly just two of that side repeated twice over here, and that's basically what this house is. Just as far as just measuring goes, it really makes your life a lot simpler doing that. And if I were you, I would continue to use the cobble for. You could really use anything for a foundation, but like in the case of something like this, like if you were to use say this sand blocks in here, you could probably keep a different foundation, keeping it cobble, or maybe going to stone brick or anything else. It'll pretty much work with anything. This here, I mean, is an optional device, making on your corners, making it stick out by one on all corners, and on the inside corner here, I did actually put a same, another pillar too. But you don't actually have to do it that way. You can actually do it quite the opposite way, which is like if you were making the wall. And I didn't do it for this building, but I'm going to show you right now. And you're making your next wall here, just getting rid of that temporarily. You could actually just build it up like this. Of course, you maybe want to redesign your interior if you were to do something like that, sort of like maybe make it two as an optional wall type, and then repeat that pattern. And so your walls would basically be niched on the inside, which we did over. I did use this device where it's niched inwards on that blacksmith. So if you want to go back to those old episodes and look for the blacksmith shop, you'll see those. And if I remember it, I'll link it in here. But that's just something to remember when you're designing your houses. That's basically what this sort of episode's about. Sort of the inspirational episode where you're kind of learning certain elements of design that might look good. And as you see here, I like using these things here. You can't use them in front here, but they look nice, almost like shutters. And in this case, I actually put a fence gate on the inside here, and they can sort of work the same way. You can actually probably do both, or just these things alone, or just leave them empty, or go with glass and them. All sorts of different ways to do it. A lot of the texture packs have the glass. If you're getting downloading a texture pack, having nice frames around them or designs in them. The default texture pack obviously doesn't look too great, but still, it's not too bad. Now, obviously, certain architectural elements like the use of the wooden poles of the various colors. There's two types. Obviously, the one the nether made of the nether brick types, but you could use those too. That's another option. And as you see here, I sort of used stairs to frame the room, and or you could just go with this sort of an option like this, where you're using just these all across, or you could just frame them entirely like that, or just not do anything at all, leaving it blank and just using stairs, or just using nothing at all. Either way, sometimes I will use slabs or something along those lines, like perhaps a cobble slab across here, or any kind of slab really. So it's like up to you. These are things that you can experiment with, I would think. That's why a lot of this episode is just going to be showing you a few concepts here. Now, as far as the roof goes, I leaned over by 2 on this one, but if you're making an architectural element like this, it makes things look a little more Viking-like. I wouldn't do that by 2. Oops, so sorry. Maybe something like this, and I have that design copied in front. If you're going to lean over by 2, which you could do, I wouldn't use something like that. I would use the slab that I have on top here and extend that. But that's up to you. Again, leaning over the roof by 2 sometimes looks good, sometimes doesn't. Looks better on larger buildings. If it's a small building, sometimes it doesn't work. Let's go quickly on the inside here. Remember, when you're laying out your floor patterns and stuff, before you add your architectural interiors and interior elements, like for instance stairs or furniture or anything, you may want to lay out the design first, because and making everything symmetrical. So as you see, I've done this room here, trimming things with a little cobble, not going too over the edge with it, just as an embellishment, but mainly using wood planks and a little bit of wood, and using the same element of the dark gray cloth. Obviously, you can experiment, do anything you want with this, use all carpets or whatever, like there are other designs. I just show you a few right here, using perhaps some light, maybe a light design. All sorts of different things you can do for rooms. Sometimes I like trimming them with something like this, just having a trim on the outside, and getting to your second level. Obviously, unless you're going to make things double thick, you're not going to want to vary your second levels too much. In the case of a house like the one right there, a lot of the ones I do sort of have them as like larger than on the top, but that's not necessarily something you should do all the time. Always sort of works okay for medieval stuff, but not so much for if you're doing modern buildings. And so basically, you would extend this for the whole room, sticking with one color. And I just wanted to show you guys quickly one last thing before I leave, about how I make the roofs when you reach the corners like this. Because as you see here, you have this thing. There's different ways you can do it, obviously. You can continue to just let's see here, go up with blocks here, And sometimes I cap those things, like it just looks nice for a decoration, but sometimes you just don't want that, throws it off. So you would just keep going up that in that way. And on the outside edges is sort of the same thing too. But you don't have to use full blocks. You could use the half blocks. See how it looks? It looks pretty nice. And you could also go like this and have like a full block hanging off the outsides. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. And when you're doing that, it does help to have something like this in there. It looks somewhat better when you have a longer overhang. But either way, these are just things that you can think about, and perhaps it'll help you build and learn. And I'll just keep going up with this design, most likely with the roof, and you can just see here, and you just keep going up like that. What you're basically just going to be doing is extending your stairs all the way down. For the most part, this is sort of an attic room, what you're getting up here, so you're not going to have a whole lot of headroom. Will come up and you'll be hitting your head, and you just have a little bit of room in the middle. It's more like a hallway. It's just going to go down, but it's something that's there, and you could always experiment and make little windows and stuff. What I like to do, I did this in a couple houses that you may have seen, sort of decorate it a little bit. Oops, sort of like that. Make sort of designs and stuff. Doesn't always work, but sometimes you could do like this, and it actually looks not too bad doing diagonal elements, and sometimes it won't work right for you though, but that's something to consider experimenting with too, just for a change of pace on the building side. Right now this building obviously doesn't look too good because I got several elements and no consistency. So what you want to do is when you make sure whatever element you pick, you're consistent on all sides with it. You know what I'm saying? So like in this case, because there was a stairway there, I covered it up. It wouldn't have looked right to have the window here too, so I covered that one up. You probably could have moved these windows over one, but that would have ran into the stairs, so we just kept it as is. And there's a lot of stuff you can be doing experimentation wise with this. I'm just going to end the episode now, folks. This is just an episode where I'm giving you some stuff to chew on, because my whole purpose of this Minecraft series, the medieval one, is to sort of inspire people to make creations of their own. And hopefully my buildings, whether they're big or small, like this or this thing here, that at least they'll be somewhat inspirational to you to think maybe outside the box and just start throwing down some bricks, to not to be afraid to do that. And I know, well, some people are intimidated by doing big builds or whatever. Creative mode is great. I mean, you can make huge things like this. You have unlimited resources, and it's just a fun thing to do. And you can just make your own worlds. So I really would encourage you people to start experimenting on your own a little bit, and maybe take some of what I've shown in this series so far. As you see here, there's some of those elements that I was talking about right there in this wall, and extending the roof, going up with a block and then that, up with a block and then the stair, up with a block and then a stair. And that sort of works too, if you want to have a higher pitched roof like this. And so I guess I'll just leave it at that, folks, and we'll catch you next time. This is Matt Rabbit signing off. Adios.